This is the story of a 165-pound medieval manuscript that fell from a castle window and crushed a man below. The Codex Gigas, known as the Devil's Bible, stands as the largest surviving medieval book in the world, and its dark legend includes not just supernatural curses, but actual physical destruction. Picture a book so massive it takes 2 grown adults to lift it properly. At nearly 3 feet tall, more than 1.5 feet wide, and almost 9 inches thick, the Codex Gigas weighs more than most college students. This isn't just any book. It's a portable library created by a single monk in the early 13th century, containing everything from the complete Bible to medical treatises, historical chronicles, and, most famously, a full-page portrait of Satan himself. The manuscript emerged in 1229 in the Benedictine monastery of Podlajice in Bohemia, in what's now the Czech Republic. According to legend, a monk named Herman the Recluse, Herman Inclusus in Latin, faced execution for breaking his monastic vows. In desperation, he promised to create the greatest book ever made in a single night to save his life. When midnight approached and the task proved impossible, Herman allegedly struck a deal with the devil himself. Whether you believe the supernatural origin story or not, the physical reality of the Codex Gigas is extraordinary enough. The manuscript contains 310 leaves of vellum made from the skins of 160 donkeys, covering over 1,500 square feet of writing surface. Between the artistry and writing, the National Library of Sweden estimates the manuscript took at least 20 years to complete, possibly 30. According to National Geographic, one person working continuously, day and night, would need 5 years just to recreate the text by hand, excluding the intricate illustrations. Medieval manuscript specialist Zdenek Ulir described it as containing a sum of the Benedictine order's knowledge of the time. The book pairs biblical texts with historical chronicles, medical treatises by Constantine the African, Isidore of Seville's medieval encyclopedia, calendars, exorcism formulas, magic spells, and the Chronica Bohemorum, a complete history of Bohemia. It was essentially Wikipedia, bound in leather and weighing as much as a motorcycle. For centuries, the massive tome passed from monastery to monastery. In 1295, the monks of Podlajice pawned it to Cistercian monks at Sedlec Abbey. It eventually found its way to Emperor Rudolf II in 1594, a man obsessed with collecting everything from living and dead animals to paintings and curiosities. The devil's portrait particularly sparked his interest in occultism. But the Codex Gigas was destined for darker adventures. In 1648, at the end of the 30 Years' War, Queen Christina of Sweden's army seized the entire collection as war booty. Christina had a notorious habit of stealing books from other nations during military campaigns. The massive manuscript made the long journey north to Stockholm, where it was housed in the Royal Library at Tre Kronor Castle. Then came May 7th, 1697, the day the Codex Gigas literally crushed a man. A devastating fire broke out in Tre Kronor Castle, threatening to destroy the entire Swedish Royal Library. As flames consumed the building, panicked librarians desperately tried to save the most valuable manuscripts. When they reached the Codex Gigas, they faced an impossible choice. Let the 165-pound book burn, or attempt the dangerous rescue. Someone made a split-second decision that would echo through history. They hauled the massive manuscript to a 4th-story window and hurled it out into the courtyard below, hoping to save it from the flames. The 165-pound book plummeted 4 stories through the air like a medieval missile. Below, an unsuspecting bystander stood in the courtyard, probably watching the fire or helping with rescue efforts. According to Johan Erikssons, vicar of the German church in Stockholm, the massive tome struck the man directly, crushing him with its tremendous weight and leaving him severely injured. Erikssons recorded this incident 50 years later in his narrative, published in Hamburgische Beiträge. While the National Library of Sweden now acknowledges this account as probably just a tall tale, The story has become part of the manuscript's dark legend. Whether the man died from his injuries or survived the crushing blow remains lost to history. But the image of a 165-pound book falling from the sky like divine punishment perfectly captures the Codex Gigas' reputation as a cursed object. The book itself survived the fall, though 12 pages were lost in the chaos, pages that have never been recovered. Some speculate these missing leaves contained instructions for the Devil's Prayer, or other forbidden knowledge too dangerous to preserve. The remaining 624 pages were severely damaged but intact. Workers rebound the manuscript in 1819, and its damaged leaves were carefully repaired. On New Year's Day 1878, it made another dramatic journey when Chief Librarian Gustav Klemming walked behind a caretaker who pulled the massive book on a sleigh through the snowy streets of Stockholm to its new home at the National Library. The Codex Gigas gained international fame in the 20th century as scholars began studying its unique contents. The Devil's Portrait alone sparked countless theories and legends. The illustration shows Satan crouching frontally with arms uplifted, wearing a white loincloth marked with small red dashes interpreted as ermine fur tails, symbols of sovereignty. Notably, the devil has no tail and normal human proportions, but his hands and feet end in large claws, with only 4 fingers and toes each. Stories spread that the manuscript was cursed, bringing disaster to whoever possessed it. The crushing incident of 1697 became Exhibit A in the case for supernatural malevolence. But scholars point out that the book's various owners, monasteries, emperors, and national libraries, generally prospered during their stewardship. The curse appears to be more about human fascination with forbidden knowledge than actual supernatural influence. In 2007, after 359 years in Swedish custody, the Codex Gigas returned to Prague for a special exhibition. The homecoming required military transport and an armored display case. The manuscript was insured for $15.01 million during the transfer. Vlastimil Jezek, head of the Czech National Library, called it the 8th wonder of the world. The return sparked renewed debate about cultural patrimony. Former Czechoslovak President Václav Havel had attempted to persuade Sweden to permanently return the manuscript in the 1990s. But, as Miroslava Hejnova, Director of Historical Resources at the National Library, noted, return is impossible. To see libraries return looted works is unimaginable. The reality is that centuries of warfare scattered medieval manuscripts across Europe, and virtually every major library holds works that originated elsewhere. National Geographic produced a documentary in 2008 examining the manuscript's mysteries, interviewing experts who confirmed through handwriting analysis that a single scribe created the entire work. The remarkable uniformity of the text supports the Herman the Recluse attribution, though the vast scope suggests he must have had some assistance over the decades-long project. Today, the Codex Gigas rests in a climate-controlled display case in the Treasury Room at Sweden's National Library. Visitors can view this extraordinary artifact behind protective glass, though it takes 2 people to safely move it when necessary. The manuscript has been fully digitized, allowing researchers worldwide to study its contents without risking further damage to the ancient vellum. The story of the Codex Gigas reminds us that books can be weapons, literally in this case. Whether the 1697 incident killed or merely injured its victim, the tale perfectly encapsulates our complex relationship with forbidden knowledge. Here was a book so valuable that someone risked crushing a bystander to save it from flames, yet so feared that legends grew around its supernatural origins. In an age of lightweight e-readers and digital libraries, the the Codex Gigas stands as a monument to the physical power of knowledge. It weighs 165 pounds because medieval monks believed that important information deserved substantial form. They created something built to last centuries, and indeed it has, surviving wars, fires, theft, and even a 4-story fall that may have cost a man his life. The Devil's Bible continues to draw visitors and researchers, not just for its occult reputation, but as a testament to medieval scholarship and craftsmanship. Whether or not you believe in its curse, the Codex Gigas proves that some books literally have the power to crush their readers.